Chip making encompasses several stages or processes, including design, manufacturing, packaging, and a fourth segment that supplies capital equipment for foundries and IDMs. An integrated device manufacturer, or IDM, is a company that can do all three. IDMs include Intel and Samsung. There are competitive advantages to being a specialized company, but specialization also means there will be interdependence on other companies. Design. A company that designs chips but does not manufacture them is known as a fabless. These companies are less capital and asset intensive than manufacturers. Instead, they invest in human capital such as design and functionality talent. Fabless IC firms include Qualcomm, NVIDIA, and AMD. A Chinese fabless company is HiSilicon, which is based in Shenzhen and owned by Huawei. The IDM Intel dominates the market for desktop and laptop CPUs. Qualcomm dominates the smartphone system-on-a-chip market. NVIDIA dominates the market for graphics cards. Manufacturing. A semiconductor foundry or fabrication plant, fab for short, is a company that focuses on manufacturing. Foundries are contracted to manufacture chips. Foundries are arguably a commodity-type business that favors scale and consolidation. It is crucial to be as efficient as possible to turn a profit in any capital-intensive business. A new IC fab plant can cost up to $20 billion with a B, 1 to 2 years to build, and 1 to 1.5 years to ramp up to full capacity. Integrated chip plants have a useful life of only a few years before they are obsolete. This business is highly capital intensive and based on economies of scale. It is dominated by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, which is a pure foundry play. TSMC is closely linked with American fabless companies. By focusing on only manufacturing, TSMC ensures that they will never compete with the customers. The closest competitor that TSMC has is Samsung, which entered the foundry business in 2005. SMIC is a Chinese foundry company with links to Huawei. Packaging. Packaging is one of the final steps. A company that focuses on packaging is called Outsourced Assembly and Test Segment, or OSAT. A semiconductor package is the casing or container that holds and protects the semiconductor die, connects the chip to the board or other chips, and dissipates heat. The case or package allows for electrical contact between it and the circuit board. Packaging is very labor-intensive. Over 80% of packaging occurs in Asia. The fourth segment comprises suppliers of capital equipment used by foundries and IDMs. This segment is very profitable and distinctly unique from the other three processes. Advanced Semiconductor Materials Lithography, or ASML, manufactures chip-making equipment like lithography machines, which expose chip wafers to deep ultraviolet or extreme ultraviolet light to produce fine details on the chip. Customers of ASML include Intel and other fabs or foundries. ASML's business encompasses hardware, software, and service. America specializes in design, with companies like NVIDIA, Intel, and Qualcomm dominating the space. The CHIPS and Science Act features 25% tax credits for new semiconductor investments and $50 billion in public investment. The Biden administration announced controls on chip exports to China in October 2022. The more efficient business models are those that can generate more sales per dollar of investment, which is the fabless model. IDMs and foundries require a tremendous amount of capital and investment. America has a lot of fabless firms and dominates the chip design space. Taiwan specializes in production of high-end logic chips. The Taiwan CHIPS Act features tax credits for 25% of domestic chip companies' research and development costs. Taiwan benefits from lower labor costs than the United States and is a logical place for both production and packaging. TSMC produces a majority of the chips for iPhones, servers, and superconductors. South Korea specializes in memory chips. The K-CHIPS Act features an 8% tax credit for large firms investing in domestic facilities. 40% of Korean chip exports went to China. Japan specializes in optical sensors and semiconductor materials and kits. 1.3 trillion yen, or $10 billion, for chips. Japan is funding half the cost of a TSMC plant in Kumamoto, Japan. Japanese semiconductor firms generate about 25% of their business from Japan. Almost all specialty chemicals used in semiconductor manufacturing come from Japan. China controls roughly 80% of the world's refining capacity for rare earth materials, essential for both military and civilian product components.